Make landing pages so good that your manufacturer has trouble keeping up and your wife gives you that look again because you had 100K days back to back. In this video, what I want to do is I want to really get the point across of how you need to build landing pages and how you need to build sales funnels in order to push your prospects through and get them to buy and spend a lot of money with you. What we're going to cover in this video is the core concept, right? That e-commerce isn't much different from offline sales. And here I talk about around the core principles of humans and how to get them to buy something. Then I break down the alchemy of sales based on what Sam Ovens is teaching. So how to really build out a sales script, a sales call. And then I jump down into a Figma file template for that you can use to build landing pages, right? So whole breakdown, whole landing page breakdown. And then I've also included this complete advertorial template that you can use to build landing pages that are crushing it, right? So enjoy the video. E-commerce isn't much different from offline sales. And most brand owners are really overcomplicating this step, while your website and funnel basically is just an online sales pitch with your prospect at scale, right? Meaning you're still selling to a human being. And if we look at human beings at the core, we're pretty much all the same, meaning we want to mate. This is the biggest one. Everybody wants to mate. And our biggest fear is being alone, so not finding a partner to mate or dying. So over the different evolutionary stages, these core principles, so the core want and the core fear, have always stayed the same. Obviously, everybody has their own characteristics, beliefs, desires, pains, and everything. But if we break it down to the core principles, we as human beings are all the same, because the brain really hasn't developed much over the past couple of thousands of years. And this is also why I like to talk about principles so much. If you look at advertising, right? Advertising from the principles of how to get attention, how to keep attention, how to get somebody to really get interest sparking has always been the same. The medium has changed, right? It used to be newspapers back in the days, then it went over to radios, then it went over to TVs, then it went over to PCs, so computers, then to laptops, and nowadays to smartphones, right? So the medium is changing, but the way of how we take in the information and decide whether or not we want to spend our attention and our energy with them has always been the same, right? So the question arises, well, if the core principles are the same, how do we get somebody to buy the product? And you've guessed right. The core principles are this. So the brain hasn't really much developed over the past couple of years. So the question arises, how do we get somebody to buy the product? And in order to make the buying decision, you have to, first of all, motivate them, right? So understand their beliefs, their pain points, their motives, and their desires. And then secondly, you want to maximize the force of your perceived value. So you want it to be appealing to them. You need to have clarity, right? So that your prospect understands the value that you offer to them. And then also that they have trust with you, and you have some form of exclusivity, that they cannot get this value or this offer anywhere else. Then thirdly, you want to reduce friction. So you want to make sure that there's no other options where they can spend time on figuring out if they want the other options. You want to reduce friction in terms of their perceived time to the goal situation. And also you want to have them trust in themselves, right? Because otherwise they still have the question, okay, maybe the product is great, maybe the brand is great, maybe the person that's selling to me is great and it's working. Will it work for me, right? So this is again friction that you want to reduce. And lastly, you want to remove anxiety. So you want to make sure to handle all of the objections, all of the fears. And lastly, give them certainty. Give them certainty that they can trust you and that you have exactly what they need to get from where they are to where they want to be without much of a hassle. And they cannot get this anywhere else. So these are the basic principles that you need to follow to make somebody buy, right? So if we think about how can we manipulate the whole customer journey, how can we manipulate the prospect in this process of selling, we can use the same techniques and methods that we use in offline sales pitches, right? Like the first impression of looking good, of wearing, for example, like a nice suit and tie, which would, for example, translate into a nice website design, or rapport, right? That we build this initial trust, this initial feeling of we are the same. The tonality that you use, right? How do you use tonality to convey certain messaging? The gesture and mimic that you're using, the certainty that you have while you talk and while you pitch, hypnotic language models, certain ways of delivering something, right? Or get them interested, or asking them a question so they imagine a certain picture in their mind, right? So from the principles, it's all the same. And what I want to get across is that this way of manipulating people and manipulating prospect to buying something has always been the same offline, right? So now we want to make use of these modules online. And before jumping into how you can do this with a landing page, I want to break down the alchemy of sales based off what Sam Ovens taught, right? In terms of how does the sales call, for example, or sales pitch work. I've talked about what are the principles, so what do you need to include, but now I want to break down the order and basically the procedure of selling somebody. So what Sam Ovens always taught is that the art of sales is to create separation, right? So what you want to make sure is that you have a clearly defined current state in which your prospect is in, and you have a clearly defined desired state. And then at the end of the day, you position you with your offer as a vehicle to get them from where they are to where they want to be. So these basically are the steps that you need to take. First of all, rapport and frame as the introduction. Then you start with the current situation that they're in, really getting into that, digging into that. Then you go over to their desired situation. Where do they want to be, right? And then you can spend some time talking around why they aren't there yet, what are the pains, etc., etc. But that's clear for me if I'm talking about current and desired situation. And then the next step is you want to position your product as a way to get them where they are to where they want to be. Then what you need to do is you need to create trust, first of all, in themselves, that they can use this product to really get where they want to be by themselves, and then trust in you, right? Trust in you as the brand. Then you want to make the pitch, and the pitch needs to convey all of this, right? But then it needs to include urgency to act, the need to act, and certainty, right? And then lastly, we want to do objection handling. But these are the core principles and the core procedure that we always follow in a sales pitch, right? Sometimes people like to break it down in 10 steps, 15 steps, 17 steps, whatever, but these really are the core principles of selling something to somebody. So now that we've gone through all of this, right, you may have the question, okay, how can I build a landing page now? Carl, show me the source, right? So let's together take a look at this landing page, at this advertorial that I've broken down for you, where you can really see how can we take all of this stuff that I've taught here before and apply it to online sales now, right? So first of all, this is the overall landing page, and now what I want to do is break this down so you can really understand how we apply the same principles in terms of the structure and the these four to get them to buy something. So first of all, headline, and the first screen that the people see is always the frame, right? So the frame for this is this small company challenged the beauty industry with a product that took Instagram by storm and sold out 14 times in a row. This is the frame, meaning we already convey the messaging that this is a great product and it has a high viral effect and everybody is going crazy around it. Then we include desired situation, right? Because this is also really important in the frame that we talk about the desired situation. So, new Australian source vitamin C claimers will give your face the hair tuning glow in 10 minutes, fade the look of acne, dark spots, and hyperpigmentation, and leave your skin supple and hydrated as if you've just walked out of a luxury spa. So here we talk about the desired situation, and then we also show the desired situation, right? So we use imagery of this really clean face of this beautiful girl as desired situation for the prospect. And then what we also do is we embed some form of trust here, for example, in terms of the press releases to also convey the messaging that we can deliver on this promise from the desired situation, right? Now, we start with their current situation and pain with a hero story, right? This is a really, really great way of doing this. So we have a hero that had the same problem as the prospect and went through a couple of options and now discovered this one option that really, really makes a difference. And now he helps others with this option. So here really quickly, beauty giant, industry giants were missing something. Jordan Smith, entrepreneur from New Zealand, struggled with skin issues, blah, 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 blah. And then here we talk about the pain points, right? Basically here we just break down the pain points. Confidence, self-worth went down downward spiral, red blemishes that appeared all over nose and cheeks, and his whole face inflamed, and the whole school took notice, right? So here we talk about the embarrassment. After 3 years of embarrassment, he set out to find a solution to skin problems. So here we have the hero story of Jordan, right? And we talk about all of the pain points that the prospect currently has, so that they can identify themselves with this hero Jordan. Now, we talk about options that didn't work, right? During his journey to achieving the perfect skin, Jordan met other people with different skin issues. He noticed they all tried multiple products with very mixed and usually non-lasting results. It seemed that the big beauty brands were pushing to customers more and more products, many of which contain synthetic and potentially harmful ingredients. This is when he, right, introducing solution, this is when he, along with a team of scientists, created a superfood-powered vitamin C clay mask that would soon revolutionize the skincare game and challenge the industry giant status quo. Short pitch: Gleamine combines the benefits of cold-pressed organic extracts with bioavailable vitamin C trio into one skin-glowing powerhouse. This potent blend of natural ingredients includes Kakadu plume and desert lime and is sourced from Australia. In just 10 minutes, it brings out your face's natural glow, fights dark spots, hyperpigmentation, and acne. So these first, right, we have the frame, desired situation, trust, we have the current situation, the pain, amplify the pain, we talk about options that didn't work, and then we introduce the solution with a short pitch, right? So pretty similar to what I've just talked about here in terms of the principles that we follow, and a really great way. Now we have the product explanation to convey the messaging that the product has everything they need, right? Here we just had a short pitch, and now we break down all of the ingredients of the prospect. So I don't need to read all of this, but here it's basically the product explanation to really convey the messaging that they have everything in the product that the prospect need. And then we have the first call to action here, right? And underneath the call to action, we have a testimonial of Amy where she talks about why she loves this product. Now, below that, we have social proof, and we have testimonials, and we have PR. So this basically is the first call to action section. And then down below that, we have a bunch of trust building elements. So testimonials, social proof, more testimonials, and then press releases, and then another call to action section. So here you can see we start with the frame. We start with the desired situation and image of the desired situation, little bit of trust, and then we start talking about their current situation, amplify the pain, talk about that other options don't work. We introduce the solution, short pitch, product breakdown with a longer pitch, and then first call to action with a bunch of proof to back up the claims and really convey the messaging that this solution works, right? Now what we do afterwards is that we talk about how this product can help with their current pain points with acne, dark spots, and dull skin, right? And then we start doing the objection handling. So after all of this, if the prospect is still not enticed to click through to the product page, we talk about another objection, right, that the prospect most likely has. If they talk about all of this and all of the benefits and it's this effective, can it be natural, right? And then again, we have this trust building section where we talk about it's vegan, cruelty-free, it's hypoallergenic, it's 100% stain-free, dermatologist approved. And then again, we stack testimonials and trust down here like crazy, right? You can see dozens and dozens of testimonials. And then the last section I want to break down is urgency to act, right? I broke this down in the pitch. You need to include urgency to act because after all, it may be the best product ever. It may work exactly for where they are to where they want to be, everything, right? But then they don't have the urgency to act. So this is super important to include this at the bottom. Get it while you still can. 15th batch of best-selling vitamin C clay mask has been released and the word is out on the beauty community. It's selling out quickly, and then they end the page with call to action, testimonials, and then some sources. right? So I'm gonna link this too in the Google Docs so that you have it. And what I've also done is I've broken down all of these aspects in a template so that you can use it too, right? So you can just follow this template and really build out these sections with all of this, right? So this was the breakdown of how you can really build landing pages that crush by using the principles from offline sales, the principles from how to manipulate prospects into buying, the principles of how to use communication, build trust, and basically, follow this procedure, right? So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions, and I will link this document and also the Figma file so you can take this and apply it for yourself too.